Friday at last, and thank God for that. Now this particular job I've been on, which is this decorating job, I can't remember a time when I've been on a job longer consecutively than this job. Now this has been 12 solid days for me, so I've had 2 full weeks there, and then I had a Thursday and a Friday before that. So for me that's a long time on one job, especially just decorating, and I must say it has been boring the pants off me. It's just walls, ceilings and woodwork, and to make it worse, all the woodwork's been in oil. The lady wanted all traditional oil undercoat gloss, and I just fed up with it really, and it made me think, what do I prefer doing more, plastering or painting? And hand on heart, I could honestly say I would rather plaster every day. If I had the choice, if it was like one or the other, I would definitely be plastering every day. I miss it actually, I've really missed it. I've got a little job to do Sunday. I've got a really nice little room to do on Sunday, so I will be in there skimming that out. And then yeah, obviously more plastering coming up in the future, but it just seems to be a big run of decorating for me at the minute. And I don't know, this job's been a bit funny really, because I can't really speak when I'm in there because the lady is in earshot. It's one of them houses that's very quiet. Do you ever get them jobs where you're working away but there's no telly on, there's no radio on, it's just very quiet, so you're aware that they can probably hear all your movements and everything you say, and I can get a little bit conscious like that. So there's no talking to the camera, there's no having a little bit of a chat with you lot, so I felt a little bit imprisoned in there, if I'm honest. I started to feel like I'm a bit institutionalised, like it's an actual job, like a job I've got to go to every day. Which the thought of that just mortifies me, the fact that I'd have to go somewhere, the same place with the same people every day. Anyway, I'm nearly here now. I'll get in there and I'll try the old, let's find it for you. I'll try the old corner brush today, just for a bit of a laugh. I have no faith in my silly ideas, but anyway, yeah, I was just thinking about how much I've missed plastering really, and ridiculously or not as it sounds, I can't wait until Sunday to go and knock up a bag of plaster and start spreading it on the wall. It just feels like the most natural thing for me is to be standing there with a hawk and trowel in my hand. That's where I'm at my most comfortable, when I've got them tools in my hand. So without further ado, I'll pull up on this drive without knocking the wheelie bins over. I'm going to touch the wheelie bins. Oh, I wish you could see that. You could light a match in between that wheelie bin. And oh, he's in. Oh, the boy's in. He really has made a remarkable recovery. Right, let's get in this job. Try a corner brush out, and I might speak to you after. It's time. I'm just going to go and let the cat in the house. I'm testing out this microphone. Don't know what the range is, so I'm going to go over there and do it, right? Go on then. Let's see what this is, eh? Well, I think I know what it is. It's the new look, it's damaged already. Look, well, it's the new filter. Where are you there? It's the new filter for the sprayer, for the Ebauer sprayer. So let's see if that fits, shall we? Let's turn you round and you can watch it live with me. Now, for those of you that watch my videos, the filter on the Ebauer sprayer, it come away from itself, and I hadn't had it that long, so I was a little bit peeved. But anyway, let's take that off. I think it's the same one, is it? Yeah, same size, bit of a different shape, but same size anyway. So let's stick that in there. Right, that's that problem solved. That can go in the bin. So for those of you that have not long subscribed, it's been a bit of a funny time for me to make videos. It's been very boring work to be doing, and I'm trying to make content that may entertain, or it just keeps me putting videos out on YouTube, keeps me relevant. So I've just been putting stuff out really, but nothing of any real interest. I mean, how much interest can you show glossing and painting walls and things like that? But anyway, I'm back in the man shed now. So I was just thinking of stories really, just something to tell you, because I know some of you like a few of the old stories, the old work stories. And I've been doing this long enough now that obviously you build up a few over the years. You meet a lot of characters on your way, see some situations and get yourself in scrapes and things like that. And years ago when I was first doing, I can't remember what I was doing at the time, but I think it was about the late 80s. There was a bit of a recession here. And that's what I was roofing. I was doing roofing. So I've always done plastering, but for a time I fell out of love with it. I hated it, and I ended up getting a job on a roofing firm doing flat roofing, felting, with a hot pot, bitumen, and all that lot. I did that. Always kept my hand in plastering. Always did a little private here and there, but it wasn't like it was now. The work wasn't, that coming in thick and fast as that. I was only young. I was only about 18, 19. And anyway, when the recession come, I lost that roofing job. The work dried up and I was one of the first to go. It was only a little team of 4 of us. It was me, my mate, the governor's son, obviously the governor, and the governor's son-in-law. So as soon as work dried up, me and my mate were gone. We was the first ones out. And I ended up doing a little bit of digging down the bottom of the road I lived in. And a woman next door saw me digging this pond out for this bloke. And she could see I was a grafter. And her husband had a cleaning company. And she said to him, see if he wants a job. He's a good worker. So anyway, I'll come out. Do you want a bit of work? Yeah, okay, yeah. So anyway, so from that, I ended up doing like industrial cleaning, which was really good. I really enjoyed it actually. Again, always kept my hand in with the plastering. But this became my new job. From digging his pond out, I ended up doing 2 or 3 years on an industrial cleaning firm all over the southeast really, more in London, more in the city, which was brilliant, great fun, great experience when you're young working in the city. Up in the cradles on the buildings, we worked in some great places, worked in Parliament, we worked in the Old Bailey, we worked all over London. It was great fun. But one particular job that we had, there was a load of building work being done at Canterbury University, or University of Canterbury. I'm not sure what it was called. But we was all young, and when we was cleaning these last bits of these dormitories, I think it was like on a Friday or something like that, all the parents were dropping the kids off. Remember, I'm only young. I ain't like I am now. I'm not 56 years old. I was only about 20, 21 or something like that. And the parents were dropping all their kids off, but they was all girls. All the parents were dropping the girls off, and we're these young lads in the dormitories. It was like, wow, brilliant. Do you know what I mean? We was literally being swamped with all these young birds. And anyway, we started chatting to them, and like you do. And one of them, I just thought she took a bit of a shine to me.
And I was going to go back there. This was the Friday. And I had to go back there on the Monday just to finish some little bits off in the corridor, cleaning the ceiling tiles down, all the metal tiles, and that, just finishing things off. And I've noticed that this girl was really taking a bit of a shine to me. So before I went, I wrote a little note with my number on it, and I slipped it under her door because we'd already been in their room. That's right. They made a cup of tea. They got it set up and said, "Well, come in for a cup of tea, boys." So I've gone in with me and a couple of mates, whatever, gone in there, chatting away to these girls, and made a cup of tea. I just noticed one of them kept siding up to me, and she was just taking a little bit too much interest in me, and I thought, well, this is all right. Anyway, I've written this note and I slipped it under her door before I went home. But where I was living in North London, the Hertfordshire, North London borders in, so Canterbury was quite a way away. Anyway, got back home. I was still at home with my parents then. And my mum said, "Someone's rung up for you, some girl." And her name was Terry, I remember, yeah. She said, "Some girl, Terry's rung up for you." So I thought, blimey, that's quick. I've only just got in. So she's left her number. So I've rung back on the old house phone. Do you know what I mean? Like you did, everyone listening. Chatted away to her. I said, "Well, I'm coming back down on Monday. I'll come and see you." She said, "Yeah." I think she said, like, bring me a hot chocolate to my room. Which is like, yeah, red rag, rat up a drain pipe. Anyway, I went there on the Monday, and there was a site agent there called Keith, and he wasn't that much older than me, really. I say we was probably like late teens, early 20s, and I think this Keith, actually, he might have been in his late 20s, but he didn't like us. I think he was a bit jealous of us because we was like mucking about, and like we was chatting to all the girls, and I think he wanted a bit of it, but he wasn't that sort of bloke. He was a bit stiff, really. Um, so anyway, on the Monday, we went back there. Of course, I've taken this girl hot chocolate back to her room, gone in her room, had hot chocolate with her, and I'll say no more, but I spent the whole day in this girl's room with her, right? That's the end of that. I'm not gonna go any deeper into that. But all the while that I was there, this Keith, this site agent, was looking for me. Of course, I don't give a shit where he wants. I'm in like heaven. I don't care. So anyway, unbeknown to me, what this Keith has done, because he hasn't seen us and he's already a bit fed up with us, he's rung the firm up and he said, "Right, I don't want you lot on the job anymore. Like, you're off the job." I don't know this has happened. Anyway, fast forward a couple of days later, um, I've met my boss who I was working for. There was two bosses on this firm. Sorry, this is dragging on, but it all makes sense once it rounds off. There was two blokes that run this firm. One of them was a really nice bloke, very easy to get on with, and me and him clicked like that. We both liked music. We just used to have a laugh, and he lived down the road from us. He was the one whose wife saw me digging the pond. Anyway, that was that side of the firm. Then there was the other bloke that ran the firm, who was a right tough bastard, and he reminded me of one of the Cray twins. He had that look, he had that build. He was probably about that age as well, and rumour had it he was part of an old gang that used to go and do a load of safe cracking, a lot of dodgy stuff around the West End when they were young. So that circle, yeah, probably well within that circle with them sort of people. Um, so this particular bloke, I'll name him. No one's going to know. His name was Tony. He was a nice bloke, but he was hard as nails. You know what I mean? And I found it very hard to break into him to sort of have a chat with him. He didn't give much away, like them people don't. Anyway, I've met Tony in his house, in his garage, on this particular morning, and he said, "Right, we've got to go down to Brighton and clean a carpet." And at the time, there was these carpet crystals that instead of using a machine with a wet vac on it, you would throw these carpet crystals down onto the carpet. Then you would buff them in with the old, like the spinner thing. Can't think what they were called now. But you buff it in with that, grind it all into the carpet. These crystals would absorb the dust, the dirt, and then you would hoover them up. So there's no wet, no water involved in it at all. Nice, quick, clean system. Anyway, in Tony's garage, Tony says, right, load them bucket of crystals onto the van, which I did. It's early in the morning. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning, about 5:30, I think, because we're going to Brighton. So I've put a tub of these crystals on the van. Then we drove to Brighton, and it's always an awkward conversation with Tony because, like I say, didn't really give much away, so you always feel like you're doing the talking. So we got all the way to Brighton. Tony said, right, get the crystals off the van. I took this tub of crystals off the van, what I thought was a tub of crystals. Of course, it's daylight now. I've seen it's white emulsion. I thought, fuck, he's going to kill me. He's going to absolutely kill me. We've driven all the way to Brighton and we ain't got the gear. And I said, Tony, what's the matter, mate? I went, I ain't put the crystals on, I've put a tub of emulsion on. Thinking he was going to go mad because he was known to flip. He would chuck hoovers about at people and things like that on sites. He would just flip. He was a bit of a lunatic. And so I'm waiting for the barrage there. He went, not to worry. He said, while we're down this way, we'll drive over to Canterbury, find out what went on with Keith. Why he don't want us on the job. So now I'm thinking, oh my God, like this can't happen. This can't happen. Like twice in a day, he's going to rip my head off. So now my stomach's really giving it some. You know, I'm absolutely shitting myself. So as we drive into that job, to the Canterbury job, he said, right, we'll pull over, have something to eat. We pulled over in this trucker's cafe, and they were sitting at this table, and it's full of lorry drivers and workers, do you know what I mean? And I big guys. I was only young, and I thought to myself, this is the place to tell him, because if he goes for me now, I know I've got people that are going to be able to pull him off me. So we were eating our breakfast or whatever, and I said, Tone, I've got a confession to make. He went, what's that? And I said, the reason that Keith chucked us off this job, I said it was my fault. I said I was in bed with some bird all day. And I said, I think he's got the hump, and that's why he's chucked us off the job, because he couldn't find me. With that, Tony's eating his breakfast. He's put his knife and fork down, and he's looked at me. And I'm now waiting for, like, you can imagine, can't you? He put his knife and fork down, looked at me, he went, what's she like? All right, with a little wink. And I went, yeah, she's really nice, Tony. And then we just chatted then, and it was like, it was brilliant. I'd found this like connection with him. I'd seen like a human side of him, which was, no one really saw that really, but he'd obviously realised, why wouldn't you have done that? He's a young lad. So anyway, we went back down to this Canterbury job. He sorted that out with Keith, and everything was all right. But it just makes you think, like, the things you get up to when you're younger, when you've got no responsibilities, anything, just, I don't know, you just do things, don't you? But all good things to think back on, you know. I had a good laugh doing all that stuff, and we had some great times, really. But working in that job today, just doing all that painting, it leaves you a lot of thinking time. And you sort of miss them old days. You miss the days of having no responsibility. You know, life was easy. All you was worried about was the next girl that come along, the next pint in down the pub, you know, the next holiday. Yeah, I had some good times, but I just thought I'd share that one with you. There's probably plenty more. But anyway, if you got through the end of that, thank you very much. I'm just seeing the time. That's a 15-minute story. Like Ronnie Corbett at the end of the Two Ronnies, isn't it? And in other news. Anyway, right, have a good weekend, everybody. I might see you Sunday because I've got a little room to skim out. So I might try and film that, because if you've just subscribed recently in the last few days, last couple of weeks, you don't think you'd have seen me doing these plastering. You would just think I'm this decorator that goes home early, which you're half right. But anyway, plastering Sunday, I might see you then.